Good morning, everyone. This is day 4. Actually, it's day 5. I couldn't record yesterday because we had a event at the gym. John's here with me. We're going to talk about the diet a little bit, but first I wanted to explain that I had 3 days of working out. Day 1 was chest, day 2 was back, and day 3 was legs. And this whole week I haven't been eating as much as I should. I've probably been taking in about, don't laugh, probably like 2,000, 2,500 calories. And the diet John gave me before was about like 5,000 calories. So it makes a big difference when I lift, because I get really tired easily, and I get really hungry easy. And without all that food in, I'm not able to lift as much as you've seen in my previous videos. Yeah, it takes a lot of work, so it is what it is. I'm just going to put it up on video. Not every week is going to be perfect. I'm not training for anything. I'm just lifting, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm kind of way past where I wanted to be. I'm just working out just because I enjoy it. I like trying new things. I like trying diets. Just seeing what works for me and what doesn't. It takes a lot of food for me to grow right now. So I guess answering some of the questions on the video. Probably wondering my rest times, since I have to cut the videos. I'm taking about maybe a minute, and then if I go a little heavier, I take a little longer rest time. I try not to rest too long because I lose a pump and I get cold, and then I don't want to work out anymore, or it gets to the point where I get too hungry and I can't work out anymore. I have a really high metabolism, so when I'm in the gym I burn up a lot of calories and I get hungry. And that's another thing why I'm not doing cardio, because I don't really need to. The lifting weights itself can be cardio, so if you have a high metabolism, that could be your cardio right there. If you don't, you need to add in some cardio, maybe some low intensity, walk on the treadmill, do some Stairmasters. Alright, now a lot of you have been asking me about my diet. So, actually John gave me my diet, so I guess he can explain it a little bit better.
Basically with Han's diet, it's not really as crazy as you would probably think it would be, being that it's a really high caloric intake, but it's pretty well balanced. I tend to, especially for somebody like Han, he's going to actually have a lot more fats in his diet than say I would. Just because, again, I don't want to up the carbs too much, being that it'll make him super tired, especially with the kind of the glycemic response that you'd get out of it. So what we did was, again, we balanced out his meal plan. Let me give you an example of, say, his first meal. He would do 8 egg whites with basically like 3 to 4 whole eggs, a cup of oatmeal with a cup of blueberries. We choose blueberries just because they're high in fiber, high in antioxidants, a lot of nutrients in it. If somebody wants something more, they can do any type of fruit, pineapples. It doesn't have to really be included inside the oatmeal, but it just tastes, again, if you ever try blueberries with your oatmeal, it tastes amazing. And then basically the rest of his meals, again, the protein isn't too high either. These are all cooked measures, so his second meal was 6 ounces of turkey, a cup of rice, 1 whole fruit, which I tend to have him eat either a banana or pineapples, or if he can get his hands on something like papaya, something with that actually has digestive enzymes with it, which, again, that's going to help could basically just digest the food for him. And we would either throw like nuts or oils, macadamia nut oil, or macadamia nuts period, olive oil, or just a mixture of almonds and peanuts and whatnot. Again, we're adding the extra fats from different sources, just to make it different. Han, personally, he likes his things to be done very plainly and and simple. So that's exactly how we structured his plan, was to make it very simple for him, so that way it's just, we cook it, we eat it, and we move on with our day, you know. And that's another thing that we wanted to touch up on, was with like, you know, this if it fits your macros or clean eating. You know, honestly, it's somebody's, their own judgment to go upon like what they feel like they want to do. Now, if you're nutritionally sound and you can actually put together your own stuff and have the time and whatever to waste away by sitting in here and using MyFitnessPal or going online and checking what each meal, like if you want to go to Chipotle, you know, you see exactly what the caloric intake for Chipotle is, so you know kind of basically a guesstimate of what you're consuming on a daily basis, and you minus that from whatever you're eating the rest of the day, because you have this certain amount of stuff that you want to eat throughout the day, which is totally fine. You know, again, if you can do that, more power to you. But a lot of the times, man, nobody's really trying to make things that complicated. Me personally, I've been doing, you know, again, there's no real such thing as clean eating and bad eating, but, you know, personally, I like to eat, you know, what they would call cleaner foods. Just because I've experienced everything, and what I mean by this is that, you know, I actually sit here and will eat something bad and then see how I feel an hour or so later, just to kind of see the kind of response that these certain kind of foods give me. You know, for example, you know, say Han likes to go eat Chipotle and he fucking, you know, he'll down the bowl and be good to go, but I eat Chipotle and my fucking stomach hurts. I want to go take a shit about 30 minutes after, and I probably can't even move 45 minutes after that. You know, that's just my experience with Chipotle.
Another thing I want to add is, if it fits your macros, it's nothing new. You know, macronutrients is like the base of any bodybuilding diets. It's just pretty much carbs, fats, and proteins. It's all that put together. But a lot of people are confused about, oh, you can eat whatever you want. You know, I can eat McDonald's every day and lose weight. You know, McDonald's doesn't have, you know, good quality foods. So, you know, you're putting junk in your body, regardless of, you know, you're counting all these numbers. When it comes down to it, you know, it's not really healthy for you. It's just numbers.
And touching up on what Han just said, you know, he's absolutely right about that. I mean, there's really no nutritional value in junk food. You know, they might add like minerals and shit, but like, why don't you eat something, a whole source of something, you know, like you know, something that tastes good. Like, I mean, I love sweet potatoes, dude. I mean, they're naturally sweet, number one, and I mean, they taste good, and again, you're getting something that's nutritionally sound. That's going to be, you know, you get your complex carbs. Again, you know, depending on whatever protein you eat it with, a steak or chicken or fish or salmon, whatever.
A lot of people are confused about eating clean and eating out. You know, it really comes down to if your stomach can handle it. Because, for example, I was in California. I was with Jenny and Matt, and then we're about to hit the gym. But after eating out the whole day, my stomach was like kicking. It was like terrible, you know. And with the diet that John gives me, and then I'm cooking the food myself, it's very consistent. I never have stomach aches. You know, I don't have to go in the middle of the gym like, oh crap, my stomach hurts, I can't work out. It just kind of ruins my day, you know. That's pretty much why I like to make my own food, and you don't have to. You don't have time in the day to eat out, you know. Try to eat out and pick something healthy. You know, don't pick garbage and just say you can get away with it just because it's numbers. Don't be confused about that.
And yes, he's right about that. Usually if I tend to eat out, you know, my friends will understand that, you know, I'll choose either between, you know, a steakhouse where I can get a good filet or a good chicken breast, or even like sushi, you know, and what I'll do with the sushi is I'll actually tell them to take off all the sauces and all the bullshit that they throw on top, because I mean, that alone can really, you know, add a lot of calories, you know, with the spicy mayo or the wasabi sauce and shit. But you know, and you know, I might dip every here and there, but that'll be kind of. But again, I'm not eating, and neither does he. You know, eat kind of you know, out of our range of what we're trying to, you know, what we're trying to get out of this goal, you know, in gaining size, but without the body fat. Again, you know, Han's different from me. You know, my caloric intake is going to be, you know, slightly lower than his, just because of the fact that, you know, he's got a lot higher a lot higher metabolism than I do. Again, it's all relative. It's all relative to the person. And just touching back on what Han has said about his diet, again, it's simple. He's able to cook all his meals just like I'm able to cook all my meals. So the majority of my meals that I eat are going to be at home. And I like to try different things. I like to you've seen people that make their own pizzas and their own tacos and stuff, and put a healthy kick to it, and that's perfect, and that's the kind of things that we want to actually do, if you're going to eat, junk food.
And question about supplements. I didn't really have the stomach space to fit in supplements. I used some protein, some creatine sometimes, but most of the time I was just full. By the time I got a little bit hungry, it's already time for the next meal. So it was portioned out right. And I also had a friend do the same exact diet that I was on. And while I was getting bigger and leaner, and I managed to break 200, I got up to like 201 for the first time. And I was getting bigger and leaner because, diet responds to my body type. But my friend was getting fatter, and he started getting fat all around his back. And he was like, man, what the hell? So it was a complete waste of food. It's a lot of food that you gotta buy, and then he just wasted it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, that right there speaks volumes of basically the difference between each and every person. Even with Han, like from the diet that I was reading you just here, we actually had to up the calories because he was getting to the point where he was always hungry all the time. So we did was we added again some more extra fats. So some of the meals that were there kind of moderately high in the fats, we added like things such as avocado, some extra whole omega-3 eggs. The avocado, again, it actually keeps you satiated, and it's a good monounsaturated fat. And I like the cage-free omega-3 eggs just because they're a good source of again, good fats, and you guys don't mind all the cholesterol things. I'm sure you guys have read enough, basically stating that the high amount of cholesterol in the eggs doesn't really give you high cholesterol. So again, let's keep that in mind.
Again, I'm not doing any type of competition. I don't have any desire to. I just wanted to try it out, see if the diet works. Yeah, it works. It's really good. If you guys want a personal diet from Jonathan, the link to his website's below, and it's well worth it. You don't have to try to figure everything out. It's just laid out for you. If you're the type that wants just instructions and you can follow it, it'll work for you. If you're expecting miracles and you don't want to work for it, it's not going to work because it's a lot of work. For me personally, I don't have to do a diet. I can eat whatever I want really and get away with it and just maintain my size. But if I want to grow a little bit, I have to try something new. And everything I've done so far has been working.
And what Han was saying is basically it's just all about consistency. Consistency first, In order to find if things work or not, you have to do them, again, all the time in order to be able to pretty much figure out if it's working or not. It's just like with people's workouts. I get emails and stuff like, dude, I've been doing this workout for a week. Okay, keep doing it. Well, I'm getting bored. Well, I mean, how do you know if you're progressing with each movement or with, and each exercise if you're only doing it, just once? Like, in order for you to figure out if it's working or not, you have to kind of do it multiple times. And the same goes for your foods. Again, you have with Han, I have a set plan. Basically, we wrote up a set meal plan. With others such as myself, I've done this long enough to where I know exactly different foods and how to measure things and properly in order to get my numbers where they need to be. So I do follow a little bit of both of your macro dieting and a set diet, but again, it's still all macro diets. Your macros are there. It's just about, in my head, I know exactly how much it is. So if I know that, say, a cup of rice is 45 to 50 grams of carbs, then I know that I can change that up with, say, if I want Cheerios or some Fig Newtons or things like that. I know that I can swap that out and know exactly how much I'm consuming at the same time. Again, a lot of people don't know how to do that. So that is why, again, with certain people, I'll give recommendations. I'll write out numbers. You can either figure it out yourself, like I can do, or we can have it like the way Han does it, where it's more just, this is your recommended, amount of calories per, and then we can give you options on what to switch out. Like say if you don't feel like eating nuts one day, then you can swap it out for another fat source, or say you want to do salmon instead. So okay, you guys know that you can take out your lean protein source and the fatty source that you have and swap that in for both. You guys starting to kind of picture exactly what I'm talking about here. So I mean that's essentially how it is. Again, you want a balanced diet. Okay, if somebody's giving you a meal plan that doesn't have fats, that doesn't have carbs, then I mean you should probably run the other way. You need everything. Your brain cannot function without without certain fats. Your brain cannot function without glucose as well. So I mean, just know that. Same thing with high amounts of cardio. If somebody's telling you to do 2 hours of cardio right off the bat, then run the other way. It's just like I always take the less is more approach with things. If you're getting results doing the least amount of exercise, least amount of stuff as possible, then why do more? Why do this, or why cut your carbs to little to nothing? Why cut the fats to little to nothing? I mean, it really doesn't make sense. I mean, again, there's manipulations and there's things that you can change here and there to see if it works or not. But at the same time, it's like,
I wanted to give a good example, like about taking your time. If you're dieting down, like look at Matt. He didn't do it like over a few weeks. It's almost like half a year now since he's dieted. So you take your time slowly. If you're trying to lose weight, give it some time so your skin's gonna tighten up on your body. Otherwise, if you're fat and you just want, like, I'm gonna be shredded right now, you're gonna have all this loose skin hanging and it's not gonna look good. Thanks for watching, and if you have questions, put it below. A lot of the spam comments and retarded comments I have to delete because I want to give you guys a chance to ask legit questions that I can answer and help you. Otherwise, it's just a waste of space. So no, I'm not offended or anything. I think it's kind of funny, but we gotta leave the room for the real people. And don't forget to check out John's channel. He's got some good stuff coming. The link's below.
Yes, you guys, I'm going to continue to post videos and whatnot. Same as Han, where we've pretty much kind of paired up together and done a lot of things. That way we can continue to create this movement. And it's not to say that it's a movement of, like, we're going to push some certain...
That's another thing I want to talk about, man.
But it's a movement of just,
when I started working out, there was none of this online bullshit, like, when I started working out, it was just me and a couple of friends just trying to smash the weights and just beat each other. And
that's what it is.
We'll go home and we'll, eat everything, take a bunch of supplements, come back to the gym and try to outdo each other, and it was fun. And now it's gotten to a point where everyone's on the internet trying to make a fitness channel and trying to call each other out for a bunch of bullshit. And it's just
you're not doing this right.
It's a fucking waste of time, man. I've never had time for that,
Yeah,
I barely haven't had time to eat my own meal. Yet somebody has the time to go online and fucking talk about somebody else.
Like, so if you've noticed,
and it's turned into like a fucking gang war online.
Oh man, if you notice, there hasn't been any back and forth stuff with Han and I. Like, I mean,
I just leave that shit out.
We save that for them. They can waste their time and energy and do arguing over stupid shit like.
But you can see who gets results is the people that are actually doing shit. Going to the gym, lifting, learning how to eat.
Exactly. You put forth the effort, you're gonna get results. Plain and simple.
And a lot of you are saying that people in the magazines are fake and they're trying to sell shit when they're taking stuff. Well, yeah, they're taking stuff, but you gotta understand that no one can really put it out there that they're doing anything illegal. I mean, if you're at home shooting up heroin and stuff, are you gonna go online and put it up that you are? It's like, dude, common fucking sense. The thing is, no one is lying to you. You can believe whatever you want to believe. It's funny because when I started working out, I didn't know Ronnie. I thought Ronnie Coleman was natural looking at the ads and seeing it sell mass.
Me too.
And the thing that you can't buy in any store, you can't buy anywhere, is the motivation. So regardless of what they're telling you, if you're motivated, you know, you're gonna get to where you want to be, and you're gonna be happy with it.
Exactly.
You're not gonna be fucking outrageously huge. Like, you're not gonna be Mr. Olympia being natural. That's a given. All right. You know, don't be stupid. But you know, don't waste your time just
let's not be
worrying about other people. This is how I got results. Is I didn't have time. You know, when I started off, it was just a 9-to-5 job. After that, go work out, eat, go to sleep, and just repeat every single day for like an entire year. And you know, I gained 30 pounds that first year. And for those that are starting off, you know, you don't waste your time with all the bullshit. You know, focus on yourself, because you're gonna make your fastest gains there, and you're gonna do it naturally.
Exactly. I mean, myself, you know, I played tennis, you know, before I started doing bodybuilding, but I kind of forced myself to be a smaller person. Like, I didn't really eat a lot. You know, I was running all the freaking time. And as soon as I started, you know, as soon as I started learning about nutrition, then, you know, knowing that I needed to up my calories and you know, just lift heavier and continue to put in work, my body responded instantly. I mean, I gained 30, 40 pounds, and it was not fat. Like, I wasn't fat. It was good lean mass. So I mean, it happens, okay? You know, so saying that somebody blew up, you don't have to automatically, oh, it's steroids. Let's please shut the fuck up. You know, my goal is, again, to make you guys each bigger and better people every day. You know, teach you guys how to, you know, live a healthy lifestyle so that you can follow on and do it yourself and help others. You know, that's the movement that I'm talking about here, is that, you know, we want to create healthy individuals. That way,
that have a life too, not just
that have a life. That's why we're showing you guys, you know, we have lives. You know, I train my folks. I, you know, help with contest posing. I help with contest preps. You know, I help with people that, you know, don't want to have anything to do with competitions, but just want to be healthy and in shape, like Han, and you know, some people that are extremely overweight and just want to lose weight. You know, I mean, I work with them all. So, I mean, but we all have fun. You know, we want to travel. You know, we want to do all these fun things, but, you know, and we're showing you guys each and every aspect of our lives, okay? And that's the goal. That's the movement that we speak on, is just, again, live healthy, live prosperous, be strong, okay? You know, and again, with these supplements and stuff, you know, I'm very minimal. Han is very minimal when it comes to supplements.
And I used to not be. I used to lack on my food, and I will just make it up. Just
exactly. We've learned that
buying so much supplements, and it worked for me though. I mean, if they tell you they tell you you're gonna gain 40 pounds off the bottle, yeah, you can gain 40 pounds, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna gain 40 pounds now because I've been working out for 7 years. No, I'm not gonna gain 40 pounds. It would be hard for me just to gain 2 pounds.
Exactly. So I mean, again, over time we've learned that we need to be nutritionally sound, and, you know, use the supplements. Again, it's to supplement your diet. That's what a supplement is. Okay. So we use the supplements to our advantage. You know, we take our omega-3 fatty acids, you know, in order to, you know, get, again, for joint repair, for, you know, all the other lower cholesterol, you know, all the other benefits that come out of it. You know, we take our creatine and you know, I have IIFYM products that I take because, you know, they're well balanced. They have everything in it: branched chains, creatine, glutamine, blah blah blah, etc. You know, we can keep going. And that's why, you know, I love the IIFYM products, and you know, Han uses some. Han might use something else. You know, it's all personal preference again. But again, that's the movement that we speak on, and I'm being really repetitive, so because I want you guys to understand what we're saying here is is we're not teaching you that you have to do something like this or do something like that. Do it your way, okay? Make it work for you, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yep. If you like to blend Coke and tuna and eat it,
then fucking blend Coke and tuna and eat it right after your workout.
If it works for you, it works for you. That's it. See you guys later.
Peace.